Alrighty, welcome to the Double D League, the official Double D League draft to get us started. So many storylines will be created tonight. Teams will be taking chances on players. Might work out, it might not. This is a big night for the league.
It is a big night. It's been a long time coming. A lot of late nights grinding to get this league put together for the fans, but it's finally coming together and it's worth it.
Yeah, it's been definitely put in some off-season time.
Yeah, you got that right.
All right, well, to get us started, we're going to do the first spin, see who gets their first pick. This is the big deal. Ooh, the Islanders. Interesting.
It's obviously the pick everybody wants, but only one team could get it, and the Islanders, they won out over everybody else.
All right, first pick in the draft, the Islanders are going to pick up Reggie Watts.
It's a great pick. I mean, he's probably the most dominant player we have on this roster, without a doubt. As big as he is, as strong as he is. He may be on the older side, but if you're trying to win in this first year, Reggie is the guy you want.
Yeah, 35 years old, though. He might completely drop off after the season. Most people think he will. For these Islanders, you're really going hard in that he's going to be good right now, that you're trying to win right now, and then kind of rebuild after the fact.
Pretty much.
Alrighty, big pickup for the Islanders. Here we go with the second draft pick. A lot of teams, a lot of options. You definitely want a big pick here. Almost goes to the same place it was last time, the Owls.
Owls with the lucky number 2 pick. Won't be as good as the first, but, I mean,
there's still a lot of options on the table.
A lot of options here.
The Owls in the second pick, picking up Jaquan Douglas.
On the same stint as Reggie, this is without a doubt the most dominant power forward. He's tall, he's long, he's got a good frame on him, and he is just dominant pretty much in all 3 levels. He's an amazing post player, a great rebounder, can pass the ball when he needs to, and is a very, very good shot blocker.
Yeah, 93 overall, 29. You're going to get some good years out of him. He's not such a risk like Reggie Watts. You're going to be able to have him for a few years. He is on a longer contract of 5 years, so you got him for a while. You can build around him. You're going to be relevant for the next good bit. Honestly, Jaquan might be a better pickup than Reggie.
Some would say that, but I mean, the long term versus short term, either way, it's been first 2 picks, both wonderful.
All right, third pick of the draft. Here we go. Now, your chances obviously do go up higher as we go through. This is the Shooting Stars. Nice.
Goodness. Great pickup.
Ooh, it might go to the Stags.
Oh,
man.
That would have been heartbreaking. For
Shooting Stars putting Nashville on the map. Shooting Stars here in Nashville picking up Deonte Gaines.
I do like this pick. This man is a walking bucket getter.
He's literally listed as two-way walking bucket.
He is, and I mean, he will get you some buckets. I would not be surprised if he leads the league in scoring in the first year, without a doubt. That's how good of a player he is. He's, in my opinion, he's the 3rd best player. He's only 28 years old. He's not on the longest term contract, only 3 years. It's still decent length, but I don't really know if he would stay with the team too well. I feel like he may leave to go win if his team isn't helping him out, but that's my opinion on him.
Yeah, still at 28 years old. It's kind of the same thing as Jaquan, maybe a little worse, but a lot of shooting guards right now can't really match up with him. He can get to the basket really strong. He can finish really strong. The shooting is kind of an accessory of the driving, but his driving is so good that a lot of guys are not going to be able to deal with that. And if you have a big shot blocker down there, he's not bad at finding the open man once he gets that defender to rotate. Alrighty, here we go with the 4th pick. Looking to go Bisons. Might go Blue Jays. No.
Stays with the Bisons.
Alright, Bisons with a big pickup. You got to think with a 4th pick like that, these teams would be a complete bust if they're not a contender.
Yeah.
And the Bison's picking up Vishal Bejam.
When you want a do-it-all player who can score, rebound, pass, this is your man. And he's a big, so he's very unique at the position. You're not
especially at center, yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to have a lot of bigs that pass better than him.
Yeah, and especially 27 as well, on a 4-year. Really safe to pick him up right now. Easy guy to build around. You have to imagine he's going to make everybody around him better. Those role players are really going to come alive with him as your star player. 5th pick of the Double D League. Oh, Sales. Sales almost got it again. They've been right on the cusp.
You got to hate it for them because they may be here all day.
Yeah, and the Stags normally get a power forward or a center, so I'm eager to see what they do with this one. The Stags are going to go with Julio Moss.
Explosive athleticism. He's going to just throw down some nasty dunks on anybody. He's definitely a person that can sell tickets and make your team a lot of money. And honestly, I mean, he's probably the best small forward in the league right now. And
so you're saying a little bit of a ball hog.
I wouldn't say a ball hog, but he definitely is going to bring out some highlight plays for his team.
Yeah, 33 years of age. I guess expecting to be relevant right now. Maybe win a title if you pair him with the right pieces. But definitely sell some tickets, like you said. Once the organization has more money, that will lead to more contracts, more players, and more winning. So not a bad take for the Stags.
The only worry with him is the 2-year deal. You've only got him for 2 years, but I mean, by the time those 2 years are gone, he's probably not going to be the same player
35,
anyways.
yeah.
So, but still a great pickup at number 5.
Here we go with the 6th pick.
Oh my goodness.
Ooh, the Sales again.
But it squeaks over to the Titans.
Titans maybe not the best jerseys, but they got a good fan base over in Detroit.
Very loyal fan base.
All right, Detroit Titans picking up an OG of the Double D League, Clayton Westbrook, or should I say Clayton the Scope Westbrook.
Exactly, and there's a reason he's named the Scope. This is the best sharpshooter this league has to offer.
Yeah, you cannot leave this man open.
No, he is clutch. If it's late game and you get the ball to him, that 3, it's in. You might as well go ahead and count it.
Yeah, it's one of the main guys of the Double D League trailer that came out. He is known for those clutch shots. Not the deepest shooter, but he doesn't need to be. He's called the Scope because it doesn't matter. Once he's lined up, you can close out him as hard as you want. He's already locked in. He's accounted for the wind. It's gonna fall in.
That is true.
All right, 7th pick. Still a lot of names out there you can pick up. Definitely don't want to keep falling.
And
Who's gonna be the Angels? Honestly, my favorite jerseys out of all of them.
They have very clean, smooth jerseys.
Good home court too.
Oh yeah, very beautiful home court.
Yeah, the Angels. Honestly, this pick, I'm not sure if this might be the first blunder of the draft, honestly. He's 32. I don't think he's good enough to win with him as your best player. He's only on a 1-year contract. Maybe you could say that he makes your players around him better, but as the first pick of the Double D League, what do you think?
I think this is probably the first bad pick. Maybe not an awful pick, but it's definitely not a great pick. Still a lot of players on the board that have not been taken yet.
Yes.
But, I mean, he's still a great playmaker. He's still a top point guard in this league. I just don't know if this was the best pick for the Angels, to be honest.
Yeah, and honestly, we don't know how long he'll be one of the best point guards of the league. So definitely something you got to think about if you're the Angels here. Here we go again. A lot of names out there. Don't want to keep falling. Oh, might be my road runners. Oh, it's going to go to the Sales.
Sales finally get a pick, and they stay in the top 10.
And the Sales normally get a big man, too. Kind of an old, ABA sort of look going on for him.
Kind of feels.
Sales going to go with Dante North. Honestly, the best defender in the league. Can guard the 3, can guard the 4. Definitely much better at guarding the 4. More of a at the basket defender than a perimeter. Just doesn't have the lateral quickness to keep up with a few guys. Scoring's kind of an after the fact. But if you need a stopper for some of these other big stars, he could definitely change the outcome of the game.
Yeah, I agree with that. He's probably, at this rate, with the league way it's going, I would say he's easily almost a shoo-in for the Defensive Player of the Year. He's just that good of a defender. I mean, if he's going up against you, he's going to lock you up for the most part, unless you're just an absolute amazing offensive scorer. That's about the only way that you're ever going to be able to get past him.
Yeah, one of the things that you can count on with this pick is that, some of these players might have off night scoring. You can't really have an off night defending. So you can be a more consistent team. You're getting him in his prime. He is 28 years old on a 2-year. You have a decent enough time to work with him. And he's not the type where he won't resign. So, you could have him for the long haul with this pickup.
You could indeed.
All right, pick. We're getting down at the top 10 here. If you're a top 10 pick, you should be a top 10 team, one would think.
Yep.
Ooh, it's going to be the Bombers.
Almost got to the Bulls.
Alrighty, and the Bombers picking up Butler. What do you think, Blake?
I think he comparably would be maybe like a lesser Deonte Gaines. Not much of a lesser, playing in a different position. But, I mean...
Same sort of play style.
Very similar play style. A good defender. He can do a lot for your team. I mean, it's a good pickup in my opinion, because especially how young he is, being one of the younger top stars at only 26 on a 3-year deal. I mean, it's a future. If he develops a little bit more, gets a little bit better, and then he can lead his team to a championship.
Yeah, definitely one of the things to keep in mind. He is 26. This is probably the first pick we're going to see where guys really kind of went for more of a potential pick, although he is really good right now, sitting at 88 overall. But you have him for 3 years, and honestly way cheaper than some of the other guys. So you'll have more money to spend on pieces around him. By the time he's 29, fully peaked out, one would think. You could really compete for a championship.
You could.
See who can squeak in top 10.
Oh, 69ers.
Ooh, 69? I think it is. I think it is.
It does, barely. 69 is wrapped up the top 10.
And the 76ers going with Jevon Ward with this pick. Blake, how do you feel?
I mean, this is one of them guys where if he goes to the paint, he's looking to make this beautiful layup, and if he gets there, he's probably going to make it. I mean, he's an incredible finisher. He's very gifted. He's got good acrobatic ability when he gets to the rim.
Yeah, and with this pick, 89 overall, 29 years of age, they're taking him at his peak. You have to just hope that he's good enough to be the best player on your team to compete. In this league, 89 is pretty darn good. The fact that he's still on the table, one of the highest overalls left that you could pick up. So it may be a little bit of a risk that, how long will he peak out? But he is the best player available to win right now, and that's what the 69ers are going for. All right, pick number 11. As we go through this, even if you're a late pick, you can still go for guys with high potential. It's not the end of you. Ooh, it's going to be the Stingrays.
Stingray, pick up 11.
Now, the Stingrays, who normally have a bit of a history picking up kind of a point guard, shooting guard combo, maybe a small forward, definitely shies away from the center. Kind of doing that same thing here with this Bernard Clyburn pickup.
Yeah, and for someone like him, older player, and maybe not the top point guard of this group, but definitely a higher tier point guard. But, you're wondering, how many more years with him do you have left? He is a really good playmaker. He's going to get people involved. He's going to help out his teammates get their stats up, make them look better. But I'm not so sure if he could 100% lead a team to a final appearance.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what the GM was going for this. At the point guard position, he's arguably the best, competing with Ed Monix up there. But Ed, he stands 5'11". He's not really a great defensive player. Definitely not athletic. So Bernard, in that comparison, definitely can match up well and pretty much outplay him sometimes if he needs to. Mm-hmm. Number 12, we're still fighting for the top 15. Ooh, tell you what, those Bulls are really down in there, but it's going to be the New Jersey Devils.
Good, great team. I like their team design.
Yeah, they definitely have a good theme going on with that Jersey Devil look.
Oh, yeah.
New Jersey Devils picking up Paul Lampley. I like this pick.
I do too. It's a young player. He's a great center. He's given you good game. He doesn't just have an inside game. He's got a very fluid mid-range game. He's a very solid interior defender. Maybe not the best interior defender, but he can hold his own against people like Reggie and Bejam, like the top-tier centers.
Yeah, and at 26, one of the youngest guys to get picked up this high. Just goes to show you that they are looking for the future, but they are looking to be competitive as well right now. Definitely one of the better options out there. I definitely don't think you can go wrong with this pickup. 13th pick. See if the Bulls can keep maybe squeaking in. Oh my God, they almost do again.
Squeak right by him again.
Bulls getting overlooked. You got to imagine their GM's fuming right now as we go over to the Forcers.
I like it. One of our two teams not based in America.
Vancouver Forcers getting Ankle Ramsey. This is the biggest mix-up of the draft so far.
Definitely, because he's incredibly young compared to a lot of these players.
He's 22 years old.
But he is up there with them. He's pretty close. He may not be there yet, but this is, without a doubt, if he develops the way we think he should, could be a face of the league damn near.
Yeah, especially on that 4-year contract. I mean, it's really just sitting there ready for a team to take it. Yep. Not going to be the best right now. We give him 2-3 seasons. You help him develop. You build pieces around him. He'll want to stay. He'll only be, 26 at that point. Yep. Still got his entire career ahead of him. You're setting yourself off right. You're building a fan base as you grow. This is one of my more favorite pickups for the Forcers here. Yep. Number 14. Here we go.
Will the Bulls get screwed over again? Won't even be close this time.
No, this time.
Don't worry. The Rivermen at 14.
Rivermen based in Chicago. They have a really good fan base as well.
A lot of good fan bases in this league.
Chicago Rivermen going with Jalen Moncrief. What do you like about this big player?
The passing. This young man is an incredible passer. I could see him being one of the top assist guys in the league. He's a good inside-out guy. He can go inside, finish well against big men, and then if need be, he can come back out and stretch the floor from 3.
Yeah, and this is the first point guard that isn't old out of this draft class, so still some wiggle room. He is on a 1 year. It's not too big of a commitment. If you traded him, maybe not the most, but obviously if you're picking him up right here, you're hoping to build around him, hoping that he'd stay with your team. It's a little bit of a risk, but he is young, does have a lot of potential. Could definitely do something for you in this first season.
He definitely could.
All right, number 15, Burger King foot. Oh, I think the Bulls are finally going to get it.
Finally. Fell a few spots, but they finally got it. Just wrapped up the top 10.
Yeah, at least you can rest easy if you're a Bulls fan. Stop watching your team get overpassed. You would hate to be the 30th pick when you had such a high chance of getting it 3 or 4 times in a row. And the Fort Worth Bulls going to pick up Billy Falls. I like this pickup a lot. Billy Falls is one of those guys, he can give you 20, he can give you 25, and I'm talking rebounds.
Yeah, he's an incredible rebounder. I would say one of the best. It's not that he can score and rebound. He's a good passer for a big too, a really good passer. He is 28 on a 3-year deal though, so you've got him locked up till he's 31. So you can definitely build around him.
Yeah, one of his only weaknesses are his lateral quickness, but at power forward, he does have a good size. He is a solid body at 6'10", 251. So he can definitely bang down low, but on the perimeter could have some problems. Defenses might have to have a lot of switches, have a lot of people kind of help him on the defensive end, but on the offensive end, you got everything you want from a power forward. He can stretch the floor extremely well. Like you said, he can pass. Not really used as a playmaker, but can definitely make that second pass in kind of a Pau Gasol sort of way in the NBA.
Yep.
All right, second half of the draft. Still a lot of names out there for sure. Not, completely taking you out of the contest to win this season, but definitely making it harder on you, the Tritons. I like their jerseys as well. They've got a nice little design to them.
They do, and they're a big market team in LA.
Los Angeles Tritons picking up another point guard in Bradley Frazier.
Yeah, I would say when it comes to defensive point guards, this is your man right here. This man should be able to lock up almost any point guard in this league. He is an absolute elite defender. He has a great 3-ball, and he's a pretty good passer. I mean, he'll definitely get his teammates some easy looks.
Yeah, and at 26-2, you can't go wrong with that 5-year contract. That is massive.
Yes, it is.
And with him being a passer, all you got to do is give him some pieces, hold on to him, build a nice core around him. Not a bad pick whatsoever. Big pick 17. You might start thinking around here that people might go for more of a potential pick and not something that can win this season. Highlanders.
Highlanders squeaking out the hand of it. Just barely.
Yeah, they have a thick dick. They have a rich history of winning.
Yes, they do.
In Highlander lore.
But being the 17th pick, it might be hard.
Dick. Highlanders going to go with Marco Ramos here. Typically a little different from their normal pickups. They like to go usually with a shooting guard, some guys that can really shoot the ball, but going to go with a power forward here in Marco.
Most of the time, yeah, you're right. They do usually go with shooters, but this time they're mixing it up. It is a little bit of a dangerous pick, I would say, because he's 33 years old. He's on the backside of his prime. He's coming out of his prime, actually. But he has a big body. I mean, he's 7 foot tall at power forward. That is a huge power forward. And he is easily a great double-double machine. And he can pretty much give you all 3 levels of scoring. Inside, mid-range, 3-ball a little bit less, but still he can definitely stretch the floor for your team. Time
will tell if they're able to go deep in the playoffs or make the playoffs with this team since they are the 17th pick. All right, pick 18. Team's getting a little desperate here. This wheel getting pretty big. I can read these names pretty evenly. Outlaws.
Outlaws, one of the newer teams in the league. Down in Orlando, a definite big fan base.
Orlando Outlaws going to Kenyon Perry. A lot of guards getting picked up now. What do you like about him, Blake?
The size. 6'7" at shooting guard is a very, very tall 2. But really, I would say he's very similar to Deontay Gaines. He is also a very good bucket getter. He's got a great mid-range game. He's got great inside. Obviously, at 6'7", he's going to body up a lot of 2s because most 2s aren't nowhere near his size. And at 27 years old, you could build around him for the future.
Especially on that 4-year contract, too. You got to factor in his contracts. You can't just, get whatever, good player you see. You got to look at that contract. You got to think about, the longevity of your pick. Teams are sweating. This one's going to go to the Generals.
One of them teams is not the Generals. Even though they're 19, it's probably looking more toward the future, trying to get some high potential players to build.
And the Jacksonville Generals picking up Carson Weatherspoon. This guy, honestly, you might not win a championship. You're probably not going to win a championship with him as your best player. He's 23. Maybe he could develop into a more, let's say, saddled player, but he's definitely a fan favorite.
He is a fan favorite. He's a highlight reel. He is here to sauce up whoever is guarding him. That is his one goal in life and his only goal. He really doesn't care about much else. Not the best pickup, but he'll sell some tickets. But
yeah, it definitely sets you up for the future financially. Definitely a big name you want to come see. One of those guys that might cause some trouble in the locker room just because he doesn't care about passing unless it helps his stats and only is really a last resort. Normally you expect him to come up and just immediately try to score on his own. Yeah, we're getting down to the last 10 here. Teams are sweating. GMs are got their job on the line, seeing what they can do. The Vipers.
Vipers finish out the top 20.
Ooh, the Vipers going with Wallace Upshaw.
Yeah, this is a great pick. He's one of the younger guys, but still being also a really good guy in this league. 23 years old, 84 overall. He's a big body power forward, 6'10", 247. I mean, he's great. I think he's going to have really good potential. I think he'll develop well into a star player that you can build around. Maybe not early winning with that team, but, 3 or 4 years in, I think he could be that number one piece for your team.
Yeah, with that 2-year contract, like I said, you do got to factor these in. He should be able to stay. He's only 23. He shouldn't have any reason to leave as long as you got a good core staff around him, making him feel like they are looking at him for the long haul. At 6'10", 247, hasn't really had any signs of injury proneness, so he should reach that potential that Blake was talking about. Alrighty, the Magic. I will be eager to see, once these teams get developed, what the top 30 teams in the league look like and how they did with their pick.
Blue Jays, historic franchise. Very historic franchise.
Baltimore Blue Jays going with Larry Pitts. I like this pickup a lot. He's definitely the sauce man in the post. Not in the same way as Carson Witherspoon, but definitely one of my favorites to watch on the basketball court. His footwork, his IQ of the post game, his mid-range game. He's really kind of an old-school power forward.
One of the only concerns I would have with him is the 2-year deal. Is he a loyal guy? Is he going to stay with your team if you don't build the right team around him? He's 25. He's a little bit older than Wallace Upshaw, who just went before him, but they're kind of pretty equal to each other right off the rip. But, you just got to take that risk sometimes.
Pick 22. This wheel is getting tight.
Yep, and these names are getting big, and these GMs are sweating.
Ooh, it's a big spot for the Kiwis. It's not going to roll over to the Pirates.
Got real close, though. Over the Pirates, the next Bulls.
Yeah, the poor Pirates. So close yet so far away. Kiwis going to Francis Pelos. I hope I pronounced that right. At shooting guard, 85 overall, 31 years old. What do you think, Blake?
Well, first off, I think you hopefully pronounce that right. I'm not even going to try. But this is a good player. It's a little bit on the older side, but a really good 3-level scorer. A little bit of a defender, not too much of a defender, but it's a solid pick down here in the early 20s.
Yeah, as we get later into this draft, I'm not going to have those big names anymore, but definitely a solid player. You can't go wrong with him. Can you build around him? Time will tell. We'll see what the GM does with this as we go further into the league. Especially them churros.
Oh, I love the churros.
Pick 23. Pick 23. Here we go. Man, these names are big. These pies are big. It could still go Hammerheads. I think it does.
It does go Hammerheads, squeaking out the Golden Knights by an inch.
Charlotte Hammerheads going with Damian Benjamin.
I'd say this is a solid pickup. He's, mid-20s. He's not too old, but not too young. I'm not really sure that the Hammerheads will be able to fully build around him in his prime, unless they make some really good picks later in this draft. But maybe a good double-double machine who can give you like 15 to 20 points a night.
Yeah, and at 85 overall, 26 years old, 4-year contract, you're going to have him through his peak. As long as you put good pieces around him, you have to expect that he's going to play well, that your team's going to play well, that you're going to be contending. At a pick like 23, honestly, I think this is probably one of the better picks. At this point, I would probably go for potential and lower age. Alrighty, the Big Six. If you're an Aces, Friars, Golden Knights, Huskies, Pirates, Roadrunners, or Wyverns fan, you're not doing well right now. Roadrunners, one of my favorite teams.
They're doing a little bit better than everybody else. One of my favorite teams, the Huskies, is a fuck.
All right, the Tucson Roadrunners. You can say Tucson, it's okay. Chris Smoove, the man, the myth, the legend, loves to pass, loves to play defense, loves to shoot. Definitely a stat sheet stuffer, more of a ball-dominant guard. But super high potential, 22 years old, has everything you're looking for in a point guard.
Absolutely, and I think we all know about Chris Smoove is that he is a winner. He loves to win. He is...
Never uploads a loss, does he?
Never does. I've never seen one. I really don't. Unless it's early doors in his career, he might lose at the beginning of his career, but once he gets it figured out, the league's it's over.
Yeah, and as a Roadrunners fan myself, I'm really excited for this Chris Smoove gameplay, and I really hope that You know, those jersey sales, which I know those jersey sales will match the hype. 25th pick. Oh, these Friars just might, maybe.
Yep,
they do. Well,
Barely.
and the Friars, I will say, do have a representation in the league of being one of the worst teams.
They're not a great franchise.
Providence Friars going with Keith Gardner. What do you think, Blake? At 20 years old.
It's an amazing pick as long as he'll stay with this team. This franchise has had a historic run of being abysmal, and it's really unfortunate for Keith. Not sure if he'll stay after the 5 years, but they do have him locked up for 5 years. And we've seen him in the Rising Stars game. He dropped a mean 30-plus point game on Lonnie Hollis as well.
Yeah.
And
which, by the way, he got drafted before Lonnie.
I did notice that. The story writes itself.
Lonnie came into that game being one of the biggest names, if not the biggest. I'd say easily the biggest name. A lot of hype behind him. And Keith Gardner kind of came out ready with a chip on his shoulder, blew him out of the water, and now he gets drafted 25th in the first round.
That is impressive.
Pick 26, we're down to 5 teams left.
Wyverns?
Yeah, looking to be the Wyverns. They really didn't come close to any other pick, but lands on this one. Pirates feeling bad right now, too. They've been passed over quite a lot.
A couple of times, got real close, and now they're sitting in the bottom 4. It's not looking good for them.
Washington Wyverns going with Zhao Zhao representing China. This man's a bucket getter, smooth jump shot. Didn't look at a three-point shot that he didn't like. If you're not coming over the screen, the ball's coming at the rim.
Yeah, when it comes to him, I'd say he's probably the best three-point shooter at the small forward position. Definitely a knockdown three-point shooter, but can also, go to the rim, finish. I mean, he's kind of a do-it-all guy.
Yeah, has a great pull-up mid. Doesn't really get your teammates involved. A little bit of a ball hog. Definitely cares about his numbers. If he's not getting the ball, he's not going to be happy in that situation. But he is the first pick on the team, so you would think that they would build around him. So it might not be an issue right now, but definitely something to look forward to as you're building around him. And then there were 4. Here we go. Huskies, maybe. Pirates might finally be their time to shine. No.
They can wait till the end, because the Huskies is one of my favorite teams to pick, but unfortunately a little bit later in the draft than I would have liked to see.
Yeah, that dog is a very iconic logo coming out of the pants.
Definitely is.
Hartford Huskies with Lonnie Hollis, the man we were just talking about. 19 years old, 81 overall. I guess that Rising Stars game gave Garner the edge, but still picked up really early in this first round.
Yeah, Huskies are one of my favorite teams, so I love this pick for them. You got to think that if Lonnie had the better Rising Stars game, him and Keith maybe would have been swapped in this draft, but Lonnie did fall. I mean, he's a great player. He's could be the face of the league in a few years easily. I mean, he's just that good.
Yeah, definitely has a buzz about him. The hype doesn't seem unreasonable. He's definitely shown that his footwork, his IQ, his knowledge of the game, his pull-up jumper, his fundamentals are there. Maybe arguably a little selfish at times, but definitely cares about winning over anything else, and that's really what you want to look for in a guy that's 19 years old that you want to build your team around. The 28th pick, we're down to 3 teams. Those poor Pirates have been passed over. The Aces and the Golden Knights.
Guess what? The Pirates aren't getting this one either, because the Golden Knights pick up number 28.
Yeah, they came close earlier, but squeaked all the way down to the 28th pick, poor guys, in Las Vegas. Las Vegas Golden Knights going with a very solid pickup, John Hansbrough.
Yeah, this is a really good pickup for them. One of the higher rated guys we still have left in this draft. He might not be the thing that puts you over the edge, but if you can maybe go to free agency and get him a piece beside him that could be a little bit better, then it's a perfect partnership right there.
Yeah, and we're seeing a lot of teams in this late first round go for these young picks with high potential, but they're going with John here. He's a good player right now, and like you said, you pair him with another guy, they're always going to work out. His game is very universal, and he doesn't have an ego, doesn't have any pride or any issues with his role on a team. Offensively, he can do everything, and he's got a good enough body on him where he's not a defensive liability. So you pair him up well, he could be a good second, third option on a championship team. All right, we're down to the final 2 teams, Pirates and Aces.
Pirates, I'm very sorry.
It's going to be the Pirates. It's going to be the Pirates. Oh.
Barely the Pirates. Didn't get the last pick, but you might as well have.
Pittsburgh Pirates with Sebastian Sword, which is, I am gonna compare him to Carson Weatherspoon. Not as big as a ball hog. Definitely likes the scoring, though. Cares about his numbers. On a 3-year contract at 25 years old. A solid pickup. Definitely not something that you would, expect to be able to build your team around going forward. But could be the second or third piece it would be a very fantastic third option if you were really trying to make a deep run.
This would be an absolute amazing third option. Unfortunately, maybe a little early for him to be going, but if the team thinks that they could build the right way, these Pirates, they maybe be looking for free agency the first couple of years, get a couple pieces around him, and they've got a really good contending team, but maybe not the best pickup here late in the first round.
Yeah, you got to think that the Pirates might just kind of opt that he puts up some good numbers in this first season and that they're able to trade him off for somebody who's younger that they could build around or, put themselves in a better situation. So they could have just went for best available. Anchorage Aces to finish us off in this first round of the Double D League official draft. Buster McIntosh, 85 overall. Still a lot of picks here. So a lot of good talent still in the first round.
They're definitely correct about that. The Aces probably aren't super happy about being the last pick in the first round, but I think they made a pretty good pick. I mean, this guy is a high flyer, highlight reel all to his own. He's a really good above average defender at the small forward position, and he's got a little bit of a mid-range game in there as well, but he's a good pick.
Yeah, kind of compared to John Hansbrough, 85 overall as well, just a year older than him. Like Blake was saying, might sell a little bit more tickets, might be more of a flashy player that you could make some more money off of, but kind of the same feel that maybe this team was just going for the best available. And, they do have him on a 3-year. They could pair him with some guys, make some noise. We're going to just trade him off for pieces in the future. I think you can't go wrong with this one. For where you are, you don't really have the most options. So I really don't hate this pick at all. And the Honolulu Islanders from Hawaii, Hiroshi Mizutani. This is a match made in heaven. This is a great shooting guard who can stretch the floor when Reggie is posting up, drawing in those defenders.
You are correct about that. This is basically a perfect partnership. He's only 26 years old on a 4-year deal as well, and he is a lethal sharpshooter in this league. Like you said, Reggie posting up in the post and they start doubling. I mean, you can't come off of him, so you got to come off somebody else.
Yeah, definitely caused some rotations, caused some miscommunications and a lot of buckets potentially for the Islanders. And the Owls going with Deshaun Terrell. This front court's going to be crazy with that power forward center combo.
That is Twin Towers all the way. It's two of the biggest bodies at the positions we have in this draft class, and Deshaun Terrell is a walking double-double machine who can also pick up 2 blocks a night. This is a really good partnership with Jaquan Douglas right here.
Yeah, you got to think too, the pair of them together, if you have a guy like Dante North who's going to be able to slow one of them down, you can't put him on both of them. And a lot of teams are not going to have that, really strong front court. They're probably going to go for a guard player like Reggie and Hiroshi. They're not going to be able to match up as well. Maybe you could just pick up some, nice defensive guards and just really pound the paint. Some guys that can, stretch the floor a little bit. But this duo could be really lethal. And the shooting star is going for Jonathan Tucker. I really like this matchup with Deontay Gaines. Tucker's a guy who, if he has the ability to dunk, he will slam it every time. He's 7 foot, 290 pounds. And even though he's 30 years old, this guy jumps like he's 24.
That is a really good partnership. I mean, Deontay is that good inside guy. He can get there. He can stretch the floor as well. And you partner him up with a behemoth like this, an absolute monstrosity.
Yeah, and that Deontay Gaines drive, kickoff to Tucker, or for that slam, that is going to be a nasty combo. And, Tucker's big enough to where he can bang with guys like Reggie, where he can bang with guys like Jaquan. He's definitely not weak in any way, shape, or form. The Buffalo Bison's going for Michael Carlson, a little point guard center duo, both really good playmakers.
Yeah, if you're a teammate on this team for the Bisons, be ready to get open because these two are pretty good offensive players both, but they are going to find you if you're open. And honestly, the Bisons are probably building one of the top assist teams in the league going this way.
Building a unit that could be one of the best passing teams that we're going to see. You have to think, though, with these next couple picks that they have to get somebody who can make those open shots and some guys who can play defense, because neither of these guys are really the most athletic. They're not shoveling their feet as well. Carlson is 30. You got to have some guys in there that you kind of bang around so you're not just getting pushed around. The stack's going to go to Irvin Johnson here. We've seen a lot of bigs and point guard matchups, but this is a small forward center combo. How do you feel about this one, Blake?
I like this matchup. It's a couple of guys who have more of an older type play style to them. I mean, he's a really good inside the arc. He's got good interior finishing. He can slam it if he needs to. He's got a very good mid-range jumper, and he's a pretty good defender as well inside.
And you got to think, too, with him being 83 overall, 32 years old, you want a good defensive center right now, especially because if you're going to go deep in these playoffs, you got to have an answer for Reggie. You got to have an answer for Jaquan. Got to have an answer for a lot of the centers even Vishal Bejam can give you some buckets. So you're really not going to go deep unless you have somebody to match up with those guys, and I think they're really preparing for the future with this. Detroit Titans picked up Laurent Beaubois. This is a shooting guard, small forward, shooter combo.
It is definitely that, and LeBron is one of the guys that can really get you a bucket and create his own shot, and that's perfect for partnering up with Clayton, because if they start doubling him, I don't even think it matters if you come off Clayton or not. He'll
Right.
just shoot it anyways and make it. If he's got that scope lined up, it's over.
Yeah, with these two pickups here, you got to think no matter what center you pick up, as long as they can get some rebounds, you'll be fine. A lot of teams are not going to be able to keep up with the pure threes of this unit. After a while, those threes add up, and before you know it, you're down 12, the game's over. The Angels picking up Caleb Martin. I do not know how I feel about this Ed Monix-Caleb Martin matchup.
They're going for the white guys. That's either going to be really detrimental or probably detrimental. Not a lot of athleticism on these first two picks. Caleb Martin, I mean, he's a good, solid small forward, but he's kind of had a history of being a little bit of a chokester, but that's just...
Yeah, that's an understatement.
Okay,
That's definitely an understatement. Yeah, Caleb Martin definitely likes to get his shots, can score with some of the best of them at his peak, kind of a streaky guy. Defensively, you really just want him to be a big body. He is 6'9", 250. You do have him on a 3-year. He is young. He could stay. He has to be either a second piece or a third piece to win a championship. Definitely can't be your star guy. As he matches up with Ed, I'm not sure that they really work together. Caleb can kind of get his own shot, likes to have screens set for him. He's a little bit of a ball handler himself. So Ed being super ball dominant, I don't know what they're going for with this, but we'll see if it works out. San Diego Cells going to Cole Roby. How do you feel, Blake?
That's a good pickup. You got your defensive player in the first round in Deonte North, and now you're going for more of an offensive player, and a young player at that too. 23 years old, 81 overall. I mean, this is a really good pickup for the Cells.
Yeah, 3-level threat. Can score any way you want it. To pair up with a guy who can defend almost anybody. Kind of the first thing you think. If you have good defense, now you need the offense. Now they got it. Bombers picking up CJ Wilson. This is kind of one of the guys that went under the radar for a lot of other people. You notice he doesn't have a lot of badges. A little bit of a chance for this Bombers team.
Yeah, I'm not sure I like this pairing with him and Harris Butler. Harris Butler's a really good bucket getter, but I guess you do need to partner up some type of shooting with him, and this, it could be a good pick. He is young at 23, but he's only on a 2-year, so you don't know if he's going to stay for a very long time.
Yeah, you would consider maybe CJ Wilson to be more of a piece. Definitely a starting 2-guard of a team, but definitely not second best player on your team. So we'll see if this little pairing matches up. They definitely got to get some grittier, big athletic rebounding guys. 69ers going for Dwight Evans. 69ers normally get a center. They didn't wait too long this time picking up Dwight Evans.
And this is a great pick for him. He's young. We saw him in the Rising Stars game. Didn't get many touches, but he still
didn't get to play the game.
Really didn't really get to play the game, but he still looked good, and he is a big body boy. That's a big man in the paint, and he's a really good defender, good rebounder. He's young. He's got to develop, but hopefully him and Jevon can get to that point before Jevon starts to fall off of his peak. But I like this pick down here in the second round.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, some of the best players in this league are centers right now. Coming in at 79 overall, 21 years old, he'll be able to bang with them just good enough to keep you relevant. And then later on, he could be that dominant center that other teams have to worry about. And the New Orleans Stingrays are going to go with CJ Anthony. He is still 79 overall, only 20 years of age. I don't think he had the best Rising Stars game, but one game can't really define a man.
Yeah, it wasn't the best Rising Stars game for him, but really this is a pretty good pickup. He's very young, just 20 years old. And I think partnering him up with Bernard, it's a good couple guys who can get you some buckets. And he's athletic for being as young as he is. And on a 3-year deal, this is a pretty good pick down here.
New Jersey Devils picking up Benedict Yates to pair with Paul Lampley.
I like this pickup. Another young guy for him. They ain't really going with their old guys. They're definitely building for maybe 3 or 4 years into this league to be a really competitive team. This is a good young player. He's extremely athletic. He has an amazing pull-up mid-range as well to his game. So
yeah, 80 overall at only 23. You can't go wrong with that. You have to guess that he's going to be a lot better than that. He's on a 4-year contract. Paul Lampley's young as well. Maybe missing a few pieces right now for the team composition to really come together, but you still have 3 more picks to finish out the starting 5. The Vancouver Foresters picking up Mitchell Soto. We got to see him a little bit in the Rising Stars game as well.
He did. He had a slow first half in that Rising Stars game, but he facilitates really well. And you can see that he can be an explosive scorer. The way he went off in that second half in that Rising Stars game really showed that he is a really good pick down here. And partnering him up with someone like Ankle, that's 2 really good passers on the same team. So now you just need the pieces around them to finish out this roster.
And on top of being two really great playmakers, he's 21 years old.
Yes, I know.
He's going to match up with 22-year-old Ankle Ramsey for your future. This team's going to have a whole lot of fans behind it as they get better every single year.
And him and Ankle are both on 4-year deals too, so this is a guaranteed duo. I don't think they're going to get broken up in those first 4 years.
Yeah, maybe later in this draft you just want to throw some veteran guys in there, kind of keep them grounded, not let them get their heads blown up being the best guys on their team this young. But definitely looking good for the Vancouver Forcers. Chicago Rivermen kind of getting a steal here with Mac Adrian. He's another guy that went under the radar. A lot of guys didn't even know that he was available, nor do they know of his existence. 80 overall, 29 years old. He is in his peak right now, so not much you can do with that. What you can do is have him for 1 year, $1.10 million because nobody knew it about him.
Yeah, we didn't know about him. He didn't know about himself, honestly. But 6'11" small forward, he's very tall. Should be a really good mid-range threat, I would have to assume, inside game. Because, a 6'11" small forward, it's not a bad pick.
Yeah, at 6'11" at small forward, he is 220 pounds. He is mobile for that position, but he's definitely not going to be able to defend well at that strength. But along with a lot of the other guys getting picked up right now, he's around the same skill level. So not the worst pick at all, but I would definitely see if I could trade him for that cheap 1 year, get some guys that you can do a little bit more with.
Would be a good move for him.
To pair up with Billy Falls.
Who's it gonna be?
Jabari Payne. Ooh.
That's a good pickup. That is a good pickup because that's their defensive machine. This man, it's very similar to Deonte when it comes to guarding three positions. He can guard the 2, the 3, or the 4 easily. Yeah,
and that's definitely what you need when pairing up a guy with Billy Falls. He can grab you all the rebounds, he can get you some buckets, especially from the three-point line, but you don't have anybody to really defend for him. And like I said, when you pick up Billy, you kind of got to have some guys to help him on defense because he's not that kind of guy. So Jabari Payne really, masks the weaknesses of Billy Falls.
Mm-hmm. And an underwhelming rebounder, too. You may not believe it, but he's someone who can pick up a decent bit of boards for this team.
Los Angeles Tritons going with Jordan Postel. I was looking to see where he went because he had pretty notable Rising Stars game for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, definitely a bad Rising Stars game, but I still think he's got good potential. I think we might have just caught him on an off night. He didn't have a very favorable matchup when the guy's, 50 pounds heavier than him at the 2. But I still think it's a good young piece to partner up with a really good player like Bradley Frazier. And it's not a bad pick. I thought he would have fallen a little further, but, the Tritons are taking a chance on him.
Yeah, 79 overall, 21 years old. Even though he missed some shots, you might think he might have just got banged up by Milo in that game. Got tired, wasn't able to make his open shots when he got them, but still a lot of potential under this guy. He got him for 3 years. He's a little skinny, 6'5", 194. A little bit more than little, but you can always eat a little bit more. So I think he'll be fine.
You can take a page out of Milo's book.
Yeah, and start eating hefty, a lot of steaks. Who the Highlanders going to go with? Arthur Miles. How do you feel about this play?
That's a pretty good pickup. He's kind of I would say maybe a lesser of a visual Bejam, mostly out of the post. He's a great inside scorer, kind of partnering up a couple of bigs. He's only 25 years old, on a 5-year deal too, so you've got him locked down for a very, very long time, on a good contract too. It's not very high paid.
And the Highlanders, who, like we were saying before, are really known for having shooters, go with a completely different approach and get a power forward and a center. Marco, he's 33, probably only got a few more years left in him, but he can coach. Arthur Miles be that veteran for him. And if you're able to keep Arthur, you could maybe build around him going forward.
Yep.
And the Orlando Outlaws are going to select Julian Orton, another guy that was in that Rising Stars game.
He had a pretty good Rising Stars. He had a really good defender on him, but he still got his. He rebounded, he scored, he played make, and he played really good defense. Partnering him up with someone like Kenyon Perry is a great partnership, honestly, because Kenyon's young. He's only 27 or 26, and a young 19-year-old like Julian Orton, who is super athletic and has plenty of room to develop.
And with Julian Orton, he is 78 overall, only 19 years of age. Lonnie Hollis was, 19 and 81, so he's not even that far off from the top prospect that we think of. And I don't really see it as much of a risk because when you draft a young guy, mentality is half the battle. And what he did in that Rising Stars game, he went against a guy who was giving him some issues, who was athletic, who was really kind of bumping him off his game, and he didn't get frustrated and keep taking shots and make himself a liability for his team. He just remained in the offense, took shots in the flow of the game, and I think it's a pretty safe risk since he didn't show any red flags as far as his mentality goes.
Yep. Who is not getting the ball is the question.
Yeah, the generals to who's going to watch Weatherspoon play basketball while they don't. KJ Pearson.
That is a perfect matchup. This man is a amazing glass cleaner, undersized at the 4, but he is a double-double machine. So if Carson misses a shot, there's the glass cleaner right there to pick it up. And kind of on a shorter deal, 30 years old. He's toward the end of his prime, but it's a really good pickup. 82 overall in the later parts of the second round. It's a really solid pickup.
Yeah, if you have to draft Carson Weatherspoon in your first pick, you have to imagine you always have to have great rebounders with him, and that's exactly what they went for. And also guys that aren't going to be demanding the ball all the time. He's not going to be asking for shots. He's not going to create locker room trouble with Carson Weatherspoon. And he's older. He's got a completely different role. He's not, looking forward to think that he could be one of the biggest guys in the league. He's 82 overall. He knows that his time is kind of behind him, and he can just be that piece that's needed to get the most out of Weatherspoon.
Yep. I like this pickup. They're going young. Wallace is only 23, and Scotty's only 24, and when it comes to a young partnership here, this is really good. I mean, 80 overall. I know this man should be an incredible scorer, and honestly, it's starting out with two really good scorers at each position. It's looking like a high offense team right here.
Yeah, we've been seeing a lot of teams that got a power forward or a center in the first round. They'll end up picking up a point guard or some guy who's a passer type to really kind of get other people involved. But they're going for two scorers with Wallace Upshaw and Scotty Thorpe. So later on in their career, he's 24 years old. You got him on a 3-year, so they'll develop together. They'll be a hard two-man game to stop. Definitely going for a different sort of strategy than a lot of these other teams. And the Blue Jays to pair with Larry Pitts, Martell Alexander. I like this pickup a lot.
This is a very good pick. This is a extremely athletic point guard. He's going to get to the paint. He's going to finish over pretty much anybody. I mean, this man is a freak of nature.
He's very fast as well.
He is very, very fast. This is probably maybe the fastest man in this entire league. So I like this partnership.
Yeah, Martell's going to be able to get downhill, and then you have Larry Pitts, who's a really good mid-range shooter, which a lot of other bigs really aren't, so he can stretch the floor in that way, and also he's really creative around the basket, so just drawing in defenders and being able to dish off to him, I think this will be kind of a Derrick Rose, Carlos Boozer sort of grouping, and they can definitely give defenses a lot of trouble if they don't have some sort of rim protector. All right, and the Kiwis, Corey Madison. How do you feel, Blake?
We really don't know much about him. But from what I can tell, the physique on this man, 6'7" at point guard, 223 on the older side. So you're partnering him up with another old guy. So I don't really know what the Kiwis are going for here. I mean, you're not really looking for the future, and I don't really think they're going to be really competing too much. They might make the playoffs as a lower seed, but then you're just going to get knocked out in the first round, and then, where are you going to go from there?
Yeah, and with Corey Madison being 6'7" at point guard, 220 pounds, he definitely has a unique play style and body type at that position. So I know a lot of teams could use him for a deep playoff run. Maybe they just got him because he's on a 1-year, $1 million contract. That's a complete steal. They could just trade him for some pieces for that team that needs that next step and doesn't have the money for it. And the Charlotte Hammerhead's going to pick up Allen Robinson III.
This pick is kind of a funny pick to me because he's a little man. He's only 5'11". He's got a heart of a lion, though. He is an aggressive point guard. You better watch out, and you better not cry, because when he comes to the paint, he might just dunk on your guy.
He might just tell you why.
He might just dunk on anybody. You may be surprised, but this man has elite vertical. And if he's having a hard day going to the paint, he does have a really solid 3-ball as well. He has a pretty good 3-ball, so if he needs to stretch the floor that day, he can do it for the team.
Alrighty, my Tucson/Tucson Roadrunners to pair it with Chris Smoove. Gonna go Frederick Wilcox. I don't know a lot about this guy, Blake. What do you think?
I know a good bit about him. This man is, in my opinion, the best stretch 4 in the league right now. And what does Chris love most?
That pick and pop.
That pick and pop. And this man is a knockdown shooter from downtown. Has a good mid-range as well. I mean, this is a perfect partnership for Chris Smoove, without a doubt.
Yeah, we know Chris Smoove loves that pick and roll game, and with him, he's 6'10", 224 pounds, 4-year, cheap contract. He's 25 years old. He's got everything that you would want, and in his scouting report, you can see at the top right, it says post defense. So honestly, he's the perfect guy for Chris Smoove. He's probably going to get the most out of him. I kind of expect them going forward to either get a rebounder or some guy who could be a lob threat, but as for a second pick, this is exactly what you want. And the Friars are going to get Gerard Kiefer to match up with Keith Garner. I actually really like Gerard Kiefer. He's not the most athletic guy, but his nickname is Houdini because he can finish at the rim in a really crafty way. Extremely good at finishing and not getting that shot blocked. So he's definitely going to draw defenders away, and we know that Keith Garner can shoot off the catch as well. And on top of that, the rest of his game is pretty solid. He has a good pull-up mid. He can make the open three when he gets it off the catch. Definitely not a liability in any of those areas. So I think this backcourt's really starting to add up.
Yeah, I like this pickup too because it's a pretty good partnership, but you do have to worry. It's still the Friars. This could easily get blown up. You would love to see this work out for the Friars, but I'm not going to get my hopes up for this team, but I do like this partnership.
Yeah, as far as a backcourt duo, especially with the ages, 22
and 20.
20, yeah, really could do something in the future. And the Wyverns to match up with Zhao Zhao, Marvis McKinney-Jones, another guy who was in that Rising Star Challenge.
I like this partnership. This is a super athletic big, great lob threat, immense rebounder down low. Only being 6'10 and 238 at center, but his physique is unreal. He's got incredibly long arms, 7'6 wingspan.
And the Huskies to match with Lonnie Hollis get Al-Farouq Pazazaglu. Now, I actually really like this pick because he's 24 years old. He definitely would be in that Rising Stars game if he was just a little bit younger. We did have kind of an age cap on that. He's 6'8", 250 pounds, and he's more of a point forward than anything, so he's not really going to clash with Lonnie as far as scoring goes, but at the same time can definitely score on his own and is actually a really good three-point shooter. So he'll space out the floor. He'll help that offense kind of run a little bit more smoothly. Sometimes Lonnie can kind of slow things up in ISO, so I think the two work out really great together. They're definitely pieces you can build around. The Huskies, for having such a late pick in this draft, are actually probably pulling out a lot better than a lot of other teams.
I agree, and I like this team. I like the way the Huskies are going. They've gone young for their first two picks, but honestly, they've gotten two really good young players. Hopefully, they can figure this out.
And the Golden Knights to pair up with John Hansbrough goes with DJ Justice, another guy that was in the Rising Stars game.
Yeah, you're right about that, and this is a solid partnership, I would say. I mean, he showed that he's a very good defensive big. Like you said in the Rising Stars game, he's athletic. Very, very athletic player. So it's not a bad partnership.
Yeah, and I'm not entirely sure that their games kind of complement each other, but we'll definitely have to see how they finish out this 5 in this draft and see what kind of game plan they're going for. All right, to pair with Sebastian Sword, the Pirates are going to pick up Emmanuel Branch.
Emmanuel is kind of it can kind of stretch the floor. He's a pretty good 3-level player as an athletic big. He's kind of skinny, but he is tall at 6'9", at least reasonably tall. On the older side, so I don't know, if this will match up amazingly, but it's not a bad pick. 81 overall in the end of the second round is a very good pick, though.
Yeah, and the Pirates, before picking up Sebastian Sword, we said it could have just been a deal of trying to get the best available, and they kind of look like they're doing that here with another guy. Don't really seem to be planning for the future, so I'm really eager to see what they're going for. Maybe they're just trying to get guys that make a good piece for a long run in the playoffs, and they could just trade them off, get some good pieces back, some good picks. That honestly could be a very viable strategy as somebody with the 29th pick.
That could be.
Pick him up for $150. Ain't nobody know about him. He's gay. All right, the Aces to pair with Buster McIntosh, Issac Moore.
Quality pick here. They're going a little bit younger with this pick. They got Buster McIntosh in the first round. Older player in his prime. You want to partner him up with maybe someone a little bit younger. And I would say he's not well developed right now, but in the future he could, get down there with the big guys like Dwight Evans and Bejam and those guys and compete with them.
And the Islanders, for their third pick, going to pick up Cesar Torres.
It's a good pick. I mean, he's an athletic inside big, and I think getting some more size to partner up with Reggie, it's a good third-round pick so far.
Yeah, and the Islanders already have the shooting of Mizutani, so spacing really isn't an issue right now. So picking up a power forward that's 6'10", 245 that can bang out with a lot of other bigs, that's the main issue for the Islanders right now. You're watching these other guys go for a power forward and a center combo, and you don't want to get into the playoffs and realize that you just don't have the size. So I think right now they're just making sure that they can match up with everybody well and really trying to fill out that roster to where they can win this season, because that is the big thing with Reggie. You have to win in right now. The Owls here picking up Milo Brooks. I really like this one.
I do too. This is a great pickup. You get your 2 veteran bigs, the Twin Towers down low, and now you get your young, high potential 2. And we saw him in the Rising Stars game. Fell to the 3rd round. Kind of surprised about that, but big body. I mean, that's 3 big bodies on that starting 5. It's become a scary team.
Yeah, and I'm honestly really shocked that Milo went to the 3rd round. We really watched the guy that he dropped off, Jordan Postel, get drafted in the 2nd round. So it's honestly amazing that he's gone this far. Standing at 6'5", 245 pounds, he's a solid 1, solid 2. He could even guard the 3 with that sort of size. Maybe it's because of the contract, but if he's young and you've drafted him to a good team, which obviously this is the 2nd pick in the league, they already have a very solid team, you do expect him to stay. And the Shooting Star is going to pick up Lewis Jenkins. How do you feel, Blake? He was another guy that was in the Rising Stars game. Literally didn't play. I think he might have played maybe
4 minutes. I believe it was 4 minutes. But we didn't get to see much of him. But great shot creating 3-point maker, and partnering him up with Deonte. That's 2 really good offensive guards right next to each other. And I like this pick in the 3rd round. He's young, 20 years old, 4-year deal. It's a good contract.
So the Bisons here are picking up Arthur Nance. He is a 3-level threat. He's a guy that can score in a multitude of ways. Maybe not able to create his own shot, but that's why you have a guy like Bejam and Michael Carlson with him.
Yeah, I agree. They're starting to pick out those offensive players that can score really well. A little bit under the radar as a player.
Couldn't pick him up for $150 though. A few people knew about this guy.
Not as under the radar as some of these other people, but still, some good pickups starting to fill out the roster. All right, you got the old head team. Are they going with an old head?
Carlos Morales, you tell me, Ledbetter.
Not as much of an older head. I would say he's a big body 2, 6'6", 226. Someone that could definitely match up well with someone like Milo from the couple picks ago. 3rd round, 80 overall. The first 80 in the 3rd round. Only 25 years old. Definitely has a little bit of potential left, but you're partnering him up with 2 old heads, so not really sure how they're going to mesh together, but he is a really solid pick. Titans
going for Pharaoh St. Jones. That's a very interesting pickup.
It definitely is. I don't know much about him, but looking at his physique, 7'2", 285. That's a very tall man, without a doubt.
And I will say about Pharaoh, despite his 7'2", 285 frame, he's able to move offensively off the ball pretty well for that size. Not the biggest verticality on him, but you don't really have to be when you're that tall. Like we've been saying, Clayton, Laurent, they are the shooters. They need a guy who can be the inside dude. He can score with the best of them just because of his size. You got him on in 1 year. He's still young. You can sign him back if it works out. If it doesn't, no harm, no foul. You free up some cap space. So I think it's a good test to see if he can bang with those bigger top centers in the league. If he can, bring him back. All right, let's see if these Angels can fix this Ed Monix, Caleb Martin crisis. Gonna go with Ray Barton.
And they will, because this man is a defensive monster. Easily can compete for Defensive Player of the Year right away. He is a good double-double machine as well. He can get you 10, maybe even 15 rebounds a night and give you a decent bit of points. He's athletic. He may only be 6'9", but he's 258.
Yeah, with Ed Monix, not athletic. He can score. Caleb, not athletic. He can score. Ray Barton, very athletic. Don't need him to score. Honestly, this team could look pretty decent filled out if maybe they get a nice shooting guard or power forward that can attack the rim, and maybe another defensive pickup to kind of, raise the lackadaisical kind of hustle of Ed Monix and Caleb Martin. I think they could actually be a pretty solid unit. And the sale's going to pick up Jayden Atkins. How do you feel, Blake?
Offense. Yeah. That is what they are going for. Deontay North, great defender, but Cole Roby and Jayden Atkins, those are 2 incredibly good shot-creating point guard, shooting guard combo. Looked for them to be a very high-scoring team this year. I mean, this is a great 3rd-round pickup in my eyes.
Yeah, Dante North, obviously an amazing defender. He is a good scorer off the ball, but on the ball, not so much. Can't really create his own shot or offense for others. You go out and you get Cole Roby and then Jayden Atkins. So they definitely did their scouting report. They looked at these guys and realized what their weaknesses are, who they're actually building around, and they are filling up those gaps. We've seen a few teams kind of blunder, but this is not one of them. And the Bombers picked up Julio Longley to pair with C.J. Wilson and Harris Butler. How do you feel, Blake?
I think this is a funny pickup to me. Harris and CJ might not think the same. This man is a ball hog. He's 80 overall at 26 in the 3rd round, but he's driving to the paint every time. and he is going to be a trick shot master. He loves his 360 layups.
Yeah, and honestly, a lot of offense here, not the most defense. You do have C.J. Wilson, a guy who can shoot. Harris Butler, a guy that can get a bucket, do a little bit of everything, but more of an offensive player. So Julio going to the basket. Now they have a slasher guy. Honestly, this power forward center pickups that they have left has to be good defensive rebounders, or this team is kind of going to fall apart on the defensive end.
Absolutely.
And the 69ers are going to go with R.J. Maddox. How do you feel with him pairing up with Jevon Ward and Dwight Evans?
It's a good pickup. We didn't get to see him in that Rising Stars game. He just missed out, but I think complimentary toward these two guys, young guy, 22 years old, I think this is a fine pickup. 5-year deal. You got him for the long term. He definitely should be able to develop into a better player and a good 2 or 3 piece.
And the Stingrays to pair with Bernard Clyburn and C.J. Anthony are going to pick Bohim Boha. How do you feel, Blake?
I like this pickup for them. They got 2 guys that are pretty good at offense. Need a big man who can, stay down there with the other bigs in this league, and he's a glue guy. He does it all. He maybe not a great scorer at all by any means, but he's
definitely not
a good rebounder and a good playmaker at big too, and a solid defender as well.
Yeah, it gives you everything that you're missing on the defensive end. As we keep saying, this is kind of a center-heavy league, at least right now. A lot of guys in their prime at that center position, so if you can't bang up with them, you're not going to be competitive. And I think their 11th pick, they still want to win. I think this allows them to compete. Devils picking up Lou Tolliver. How do you feel with this matchup of Benedict Yates and Paul Ampley, Blake?
2 really good offensive players, both can stretch the floor, and Tolliver is, on the older side, very athletic and a good two-way player as well. So you're picking up a pretty good defender here. And 81 overall, midway through the third, that's a very solid pickup.
Definitely not a lot of guys with that high overall here in the third. The Devils not going for a very young team, a very high potential team, but they're looking to be competitive right now with the best they got. I'm not sure if that's the best option for what they've got so far. They are the 12th pick, so it could happen. Time will tell if they're able to make this group work. And for the Forcers, a matchup with Mitchell Soto and Ankle Ramsey. Debo Magne. How do you feel, Blake?
Yeah, this is a good pickup. 2 really good passers the first 2 rounds. Now you go for a big, tall, heavy, strong guy in the paint who is a really good post player who could definitely give these top bigs some trouble in the post.
Yeah, the Forcers looking to be a pretty good offensive team with these 2 passers, as you were saying, and Debo can actually finish. A lot of teams are kind of going for that defensive center. Ankle Ramsey and Mitchell Soto should be able to draw the defense in and hit Debo and make him score a lot more than a lot of these other defensive centers a lot of people were opting to pick up. And the Rivermen going to go with Geno Townsend to pair with Jalen and Mac Adrian.
I like this pickup here. It's a young player, 23 years old. He is a really good 3-level big. He's just young. He definitely has to develop. A good glass cleaner. A little undersized at 6'10", but he's still 251 pounds on a 4-year deal. Compared to them, I mean, Jalen is a really good passer and a great scorer, so partnering him up with a big like this is honestly a really good matchup.
Yeah, 77 overall, definitely not the highest in this third round, but he does have a 4-year contract, pretty cheap for the most part, especially with him being 23, so a lot of upside. You're definitely going to need some glass cleaners. You don't want to wait too long to get a center for your starting 5 and then end up getting killed, especially with the way the league is looking right now. And the Bulls, for their big 3, Tupacu Okongwu.
Very defensive around Billy Falls. This man, another guy who will be competing for Defensive Player of the Year, 7'1" with a 7'8" wingspan. This man is long. Honestly, back-to-back defensive picks for the Bulls. Looking like a really strong defensive team here.
Yeah, they're doing a lot of things that I think they should do if they're going to build around Billy correctly. He's a great power forward. He does everything you'd want from that position, just can't really defend well. So Jabari definitely fills in those gaps, being able to switch on a bunch of different guys that he can't guard. Then now you add Tubaku at the rim. I'm kind of looking for them now with this next pick in the 4th round. Probably go for a point guard that can either create or at least space the floor for them. And the Tritons are going to pick up Leo Gresham here. He's another guy that was in that Rising Stars game, although we didn't really get to see him play too much.
Yeah, he didn't get a lot of minutes. They've already gone with 2 really good offensive players, and they are continuing the trend. This young man is a really good scorer, super athletic, high flyer, great pickup on a 5-year deal too. Him and Frazier both on 5-year deals.
Jeez.
So they are set up for a very good future.
And the Highlanders with Arthur Miles and Marco Ramos are going to pick up Alonzo Crawford.
It's a solid pickup here. He is a bucket getter down here, and at 17th in the 3rd round, 81 overall, and just 28 years old. This is a really, really good pickup for them.
Some say Alonzo Crawford is too ugly for the TV, those people being me. Alonzo Crawford trying to match it with Marco and Arthur. 2-year, $30 million. You get him. Really not that much. He's 28 years old. Still got a lot of years ahead of him. Probably get him to sign back. He's definitely a good piece. Like we were saying, there's not a lot of high overalls left in this third quarter, especially the end of it as we go to the 17th pick. So just picking up best available. And the Outlaws here going with Rashid Young.
A good partnership. They're going very heavy offense with this team, again, like some other teams. Rashad is a good bucket getter. He can do it at all 3 levels. He's a good creator. He can pass the ball a decent bit. It's a solid pickup for him.
Yeah, and he's also another player that is in his prime right now, and they kind of went with that with their last pick. So I think right now they're just kind of laying a foundation for Julian Orton where he doesn't have this expectation to be the savior the second he comes in at a young age. He can just flourish within an offense that already works. He can just grow as a player with not a lot of pressure on his shoulders and really help his development going forward.
Second person to not get the ball.
Yeah, second person to not get the ball. James Michael Adkins, honestly, another great pickup for the Weatherspoon boys. It's basically the Weatherspoon team, not the Generals. He's gonna take those shots. He is going to get double teamed. When you get double teamed, you are gonna need that guy to shoot, and you got a spot up threat in James Michael Adkins. And on top of that, still matches really well with KJ Pearson to grab all those rebounds. So I think they really are just trying to get the most out of Weatherspoon, out of what they got. And he's a young guy. James Michael Adkins is a young guy. They can, work up together. You can always have another rebounding guy to fill in that KJ Pearson slot. So I think if they find a way to work it out, as long as James Michael Adkins doesn't care about getting the ball like that and just really opts to be that spot up guy, it really could be a good pairing. I'm gonna poopy. I'm gonna do this. Justin Leon going to the Vipers here. How do you feel, Blake?
It's a good passer. You've got 2 really good offensive threats. Him and Upshaw in the pick and roll, match made in heaven. This man is a very flashy but very good passer.
And the Blue Jays here with their solid pickup, Jay Banks. Jay Banks is another guy that was in the Rising Stars Challenge. To match him with Martell and Larry Pitts is another guy that kind of revolves around the mid-range, so they're not getting a lot of good spacing here, but Martell can drive really well. Larry can play really well offensively around the paint. Jay Banks can be that shooter that you need.
Yeah, I like this pickup. They're building a really solid roster here.
And the Kiwis going to pick up Dusty Johnson. Not a lot is known about him, but they do have him on a 4-year, 25 years old, pairing up with Corey Madison and Francis Bellew.
Yes, that is correct. And he's a good spot-up shooter, so, putting a lot of offense on this team.
And the Hammerheads picking up Amari Porter. How do you feel about this, Blake, matching up with Allen Robinson III and Damian Benjamin?
It's a good vet, solid guy. He can do a little bit of everything. But again, we're even later in the 3rd round and another 80 going. Does it fit? It's a solid pick, but nothing super special here.
And the Roadrunners to pair with Chris Smoove and Frederick Wilcox is Shane Norris. Now, he's another guy that a lot of people don't know about, kind of went under the radar a little bit. But he's a 3-level threat. He's another guy that can stretch that floor for Chris Smoove. He's 6'7", got some good length at shooting guard. So Chris definitely just wanted to open up that floor, kind of create a 5-out offense. They might need some defenders later on, but for right now, I think it really works.
Really, I think they're just going very high-powered offense, and that's what Chris Smoove likes.
All right, Fries with a good base here with the Gerard Kiefer and Keith Garner pickup. And they're going to pick up Harvey Temple. And I think this is a pretty solid pickup, mainly because Keith Garner in that Rising Stars game was getting double teamed and he was dishing it off a lot out of that double team to guys that maybe couldn't finish when they had that opportunity at the rim, but he definitely will. And in that pick and roll too, he's definitely a lob threat. So they're really going for a lot of high octane offense here. And the Wyverns going with Darius Mack.
I like this pickup for the Wyverns. It's solid. They needed a little bit more defense, and that's what they got here. Very good hybrid defender. Can guard the 3, can guard the 4, could maybe go down to the 5.
Yeah, and it's kind of a similar situation with the Billy Falls team where they really expect Zhao Zhao to score a lot of the points here, and they're going to pick up guys like Darius Mack who can guard for him. It's almost kind of a Carson Weatherspoon situation. Instead of getting rebounders, they've just gone for defenders. So we'll see if it works out. We are late in this draft, so with a pick this low, I'm not sure if that strategy will work out. I'm not sure if Zhao is really good enough to carry you, but I think they will be competitive. And the Huskies, can they create a young big 3? They pick up Kai Hodges. How do you feel about this one, Blake?
This is a great pickup for them. A good floor general to an extent, who is an incredible inside-out player. He can get to the paint. Even though he's only 6 foot, he's a good finisher. And if that's not working for him, he's got a great 3-ball to go with it. So it's a really solid pickup here in the 3rd round.
Yeah, some good spacing, a little bit of, I wouldn't say veteranship, but he is 25 compared to Hollis and Al-Farouq, who are really young. So with him being able to floor space, give Hollis and Al-Farouq more room, that'll create more opportunities for them to flourish within this offense. And the Golden Knights picking up Will Dunn. I know you're pretty big on this guy. How do you feel, Blake?
I feel like this is a great pickup for him. You get another really good athlete. He's a big body guy, 6'5", 218, only 19 years old, on a 4-year deal. It's just a great pickup here in the 3rd round.
And the Pirates picking up Emmett St. Jones. He is a tall point guard, 6'6", 225. He doesn't have, that skinny syndrome like some of these other point guards that are tall. To match him with Sebastian Sword. He's a solid defender. He can space the floor, although he is a little bit streaky at times. Some decent potential on him, so I think he could complement Sebastian Sword's game pretty well.
And don't forget that he is the brother of Pharaoh St. Jones, who was taken a little bit earlier in this draft. Another really solid pickup for them.
And the Aces is going to pick up Joey Parks to match up with Buster Mcintosh and Issac Moore.
Pretty solid pickup for him. Inside out, 2-guard. Pretty athletic, especially for being a white guy. Very athletic, actually. And then he's got a 3-ball as well to go with that. Maybe not the best defender, kind of in that in-between range where he's 26 years old, getting close to the peak. But he is 79 overall, and that's a pretty good pickup for the end of the 3rd round.
And the Islanders picking up Mac Peterson. How do you feel, Blake, as his 4th spot?
It's exactly what they need at this point. It's another spacer, good 3-point shooter, and a really solid defender as well at this position. And in the 4th round, 78, 26 years old. He fits the mold for this team perfect.
Yeah, and the Islanders, with that Reggie Watts pickup, some were saying it's a really big risk, me included. It really is a risk with Reggie being so old. They have to win right now. But I think with the picks that they're picking right now, they're not giving themselves many weaknesses. They're really kind of filling in those gaps to where a guy can't come in the playoffs and completely just destroy their team composition. And the Owls going to pick up Don Barnett. Milo is a shooting guard.
Actually, yeah, they're going for a bench player here. They're trying to get a really good 6-man. This is an interesting pick. They're really the first team to go for a 6-man. We'll see how it turns out for them.
Yeah, if they do end up starting him, it'll be interesting to see how they try to work this out. And the shooting stars picking up Levu Constantine, the guy that went under the radar. Does demand $7 million, though. A spot of threat for him. Paired up with Lewis Jenkins and Deontay Gaines, a few guys that can score. Floor spacing is never a bad thing.
No, it's never a bad thing, and this is a good pickup in the 4th round to add to the 2 offensive guards you got and to get another big out of the paint, so there's only one big down there and big old Tucker.
Bison's picking up Edward Barker, an 80 overall here in the 4th round. One of those other guys that did go under the radar, but he is a scoring threat to match up with these passers, like we said, Michael Carlson and Besham.
Yep, they're going for more offense here, and this is a really good pickup for them. They just 2 good passers. Now you got 2 people who can score, and 80 overall, 29 years old in the 4th round is definitely a great pickup.
Stags picking up Cameron Johnson, a big day for him. Really was looking forward to making the league in honor of his father, which he has a tattoo for, even on his right shoulder. Cameron Johnson, a great defender, can guard the 3, can guard the 4, can guard the 5 at power forward. Moves extremely well, very long, doesn't jump at everything, stays down if he needs to, and a solid rebounder as well. In a league like this, you definitely need that stopper.
Yeah, I like this pick too. 1 moment of silence for his dad.
And we keep it moving. With the Titans picking up Cog Barbo to match up with Clayton Westbrook, Laurent Pambois, and Pharaoh.
And this is kind of their glue guy. He's very versatile at the 4. And it's a good pick in here in the 4th round.
Yeah, we thought they might go for a little bit of defense, but Cog Barbo is a solid defender at his position, but also has a little bit of a post game. Might be able to draw a little bit of attention off of Clayton and Laurent for those outside shots. All right, let's see if the Angels can keep this rebuild of their 2 first questionable picks. They pick up Ed Theus. How do you feel?
Going with the theme, it's a questionable pick. Obviously going for best available here, but he's 34 years old. You only got him on a 1-year deal, so he could be gone immediately after the 1st year, and then now you're down to 1 less good player.
Yeah, with the 7th pick overall, you really expect the Angels to do a lot here. Good bit of talent, but I'm not sure that it really works out. They might not have a clear vision of the future and what they want out of this unit. And the Sales picking up Michael Quinn. He's a sharpshooter, kind of going with this stretch the floor kind of feel for the Dante North, Cole Roby, Jaden Atkins group.
He will be coming off the bench for them as well, more than likely. So they're going for some depth here.
Yeah, or just a guy to come in when Cole Roby or Jaden Atkins needs a break and you still need that floor spacing for Dante. You're definitely going to need some bench guys that can, perform the same role as your starters. And the Bombers picking up Elijah English. I actually really like this pick here. Julio Longley can attack the basket. CJ Wilson can give you a little bit of everything, but main shooter. Harris Butler, really offensive player as well. Elijah is 6'11", 300 pounds, so he's big enough at least to bang a little bit. He's young, has some good potential. He is on a 1 year, but you could probably sign him back. He's not going to really demand too much money. And he also spaces the floor and kind of keeps this offensive-minded unit theme going. 69ers picking up Kelvin Afflalo. How do you feel?
It's a big body down low, partnering him up with Dwight Evans in the peak of his career, but he's 79. It's kind of a steal here in the 4th round. And he's only 28, so it's not like he's too old, and he's on a 3-year deal. So it's a very good pickup.
Stingray's got a solid unit right here, picking up Troy Slaughter. 77 overall, 24 years old, 6'5". Gives you some good size at shooting guard. Is more of a mid-range shooter than anything else, but with guys like Beheem on the roster, CJ on the roster, Bernard, guys that can already score, you don't need him to do too much, but space the floor enough. Honestly, kind of a questionable pick. They might have just got him because he's so cheap on that 3-year, 21 mil.
Good, solid role player, filling out the roster here in the 4th round for the Stingrays.
And the Devils going to get Pablo Barbosa, another guy, real cheap, 22 years old. You always look for the young guys.
Looks like he's going to be their, maybe even their 6th man behind Lou Tolliver. And, they're going a little bit younger here. Most of the time they've been going with a little bit older people, but this is a solid pickup.
Yeah, and it's interesting here that only in the 4th round we're already seeing these bench pickups. So we'll see if that's a continued theme as we go deeper in this 4th. And the Foresters picking up Rodney Stockton. Mitchell Soto can get your teammates involved. Ankle Ramsey the same thing. Debo can play off of that. And Rodney can get his own bucket. So he's not going to be needed to fill in the roster. He can still shoot when he's open. He's young. He's on a 3-year. He should fit well enough, although this team definitely needs a little bit of defense right now. And Riverman, Desmond Davidson. Just an 18-year-old glass cleaner. You don't see many 18-year-olds in this draft.
You definitely do not. And going for a bench player again, we've started to see a lot of that here in the 4th round. Teams trying to get their bench filled out pretty early.
Yeah, in this group right now, probably safe to say they're not good enough right now to win it all. So getting an 18-year-old early right now might be a good decision. The Bulls going for Gene Washington. Well, you got Billy Fawcett. Can give you some good offensive numbers, some good rebounding, but can't play D. They picked up 2 good defensive players, and now you got a guy who can score off of that. So kind of what we expect. They'll probably go for another guard that can shoot here at shooting guard, maybe even a 2-way player as we continue to fill out this team. Oh, the Tritons picking up Victor Van Leer.
This pick right here is interesting for him. They've gone guard heavy to start, going with another guard. This man is going to be a very, very disgusting 6-man. He's not afraid to take shots at all. He's a big friend to Freak, and I think this is a really good pickup. He's 19 years old too, on a 4-year deal.
Yeah, as long as something tragic doesn't happen to him, he's got a lot of upside. At 75 overall, already at 19. Definitely one of the steals of the draft. You got him on a 4-year, so he has time to develop. He doesn't feel pressured in any way, and you already got some good guards out there. So, Jordan Postel, I think this is a little bit of insurance that if he's not really hitting those shots, you put in Victor Van Leer, he'll definitely get you some attempts.
Absolutely. Only bad thing about Vic is he's a little bit of a troublemaker, but maybe he'll put that to the side if he wants to actually have a long career and not have something happen to him.
Highlanders picking up Glenn Armstrong to fill out this roster.
It's a good pick. They're going more vets on this team, without a doubt. They're just going best available here. That's about all it is. He's a really good slasher.
Outlaws picking up Harris Day. He has dropped so far, and the Outlaws could not let him go any further.
Hey, this is a great partnership. Him and Julian Orton, the 2 young guys of this team, with the vets at the guard positions. This is a very nice pickup for the Outlaws.
Generals Carter Clare. Now, this guy's got a really interesting play style, so it's honestly, I think he kind of fits this team really well. He's a little bit more of a playmaker. He could maybe be used to complement Weatherspoon, but he's actually a really great rebounder at 6'5" as a small forward. So to go along with this unit that you got of Weatherspoon shooting and other guys either stretching the floor or rebounding, you got yourself a small forward who can rebound. God forbid they get a center who can rebound.
Yeah,
like
really.
They might have a crazy unit going. And the Vipers, David Ballard. He's a floor stretching guy. You got Wallace Upshaw in the paint. Scotty Thorpe can get you buckets. Justin Leon can set other guys up. So just another guy to space the floor and give more room for Wallace to, feel safe within this unit to just grow and take his time. Stan Douglas for the Blue Jays to pair up with Martell Alexander, Jay Banks, and Larry Pitts. They already do have a shooting guard, so he is going to come off the bench most likely at 6'5". They might not have use for him, but he's a good 3-level threat. He can get you a bucket. He's 24 years old on a 3-year contract. Very cheap. I'm interested to see what these Blue Jays go for, but it seems like they're going for more of a future pick, especially with another young guy. And the Kiwis picking up Cameron Underwood. How do you feel about this play?
I think it's a good player to pick up. It's a really good mid-range threat here. He's pretty athletic at the 4. They needed a big man. They got a big man. A solid 4th-round pickup here.
Yeah, these Kiwis, I think they're going for kind of a best available. I'm not sure what kind of game plan they're going for. They're not really going for the futures. They're not really going for right now. They are late in the pick, so we'll see if this works out at all. Maybe the Kiwis are starting to build a pretty mediocre team. And the Hammerheads here picking up Taribo Udo. Now, I'm not entirely sure why they picked him up here. Being an interior threat at 6'8". They already got a lot of guys that do like to attack the basket naturally. Their best shooter right now is Allen Robinson III, and he's more of a slasher himself. But he is 24 years old. You do have him on a 4-year contract. It's not a very big contract. So if he doesn't start showing some upside, you can definitely trade him off, probably get some good pieces back for him. On the Roadrunners with this team, they got going Jonathan Galloway. He's a 6'10 small forward that can stretch the floor. This Chris Move lineup is going for shooting.
Perimeter, perimeter, perimeter. That is what Chris Move likes. They knew what they were doing with their first pick. They got him and they said, give me some threes. And that's what they're getting.
You know, I said Chris Move wants that 5-out offense. We might actually see it from the Roadrunners. They're going to be one of those offensive teams to look out for. And he's young, 22 years old, 3 years on that contract. Ooh, Friars picking up Leonard King. He's only 19 years old, 75 overall. They already do have some strong backcourt guard players, so he's going to come off the bench. But I think if you need a guy to run that bench unit, this is perfect.
Yeah, this is a great pickup. 19 years old, coming off the bench.
Yeah, the Friars, once again, young at every position. And now they got a young guy off the bench, so they might just need to pick up some veterans, keep them together. This might end up like the OKC Thunder.
It could.
And they all just break apart and have great careers otherwise.
It is the Friars, so that would make sense.
And the Wyverns picking up Wade Steele, 18 years old, 75 overall. This was one of the guys that fell under a lot of people's radar, but 3 years, pretty cheap. A lot of upside, a paint protector for this unit. He is going to come off the bench. They already have a strong front court, but if he's 18, 75 overall, I think you just got to go potential and hope that, you can build around him later.
Yeah, hope that he develops. I mean, he's a great backup to McKinney Jones. He's tall as well, 7'1". So if McKinney Jones is getting dominated because he's a little undersized, throw in the 7'1" mountain and then hope that he can slow that person down.
And the Huskies, they've got a really great unit right now. They're going to add Clark Bell to that. Honestly, doesn't fill out their roster, but I think they're going to try to continue this offensive scheme that they've got on the bench. Hollis is one of the better mid-range shooters. Clark Bell, that's really what he specializes in. I think they're going to try to continue to run the same offense just with the bench unit as well.
Yep, and they're keeping it young, 20 years old.
Golden Knights picking up Gilbert Barrett, another guy that was in the Rising Stars game. How do you feel, Blake, going into the Golden Knights?
Glue guy. He fits well. He will be coming off the bench behind DJ Justice, but to have a guy of his caliber coming off the bench to score a little bit, rebound a little bit, pass a little bit, play really solid defense, I mean, 4th round, this is an absolute steal.
And the Pirates, they've got an interesting unit so far, and they pick up Emerson Richardson. Very interesting pick. Emerson, actually a really great defensive guard, standing at 6 foot. He has a massive wingspan. That would shock you a little bit. Very hustle guy, can get some steals, and can actually get you some blocks at that height. Coming in behind Emmett St. Jones and Sebastian Sword, he'll be a good backup. He definitely has a little bit of scoring ability at the rim and his pull-up jump shot, but they could run some kind of weird triple guard lineup with Emerson, Emmett, and Sebastian playing the 1, 2, and 3. Emmett can definitely play the 1, 2, or 3. Standing at 6'6", so we'll see how they use him. I'm not sure it really fits their lineup, but on the bench, he could be 6th man of the year. And the Aces, in the 4th, they're going to pick up Antoine Early.
Under the radar pick here, bit of a stocky point guard, 6 foot, 199. That is very stocky. 21 years old, pretty good overall here at the end of the 4th.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of guys at that height or really left right now that are two-way dudes. Especially not a guy who can space the floor but also finish at the basket. So he's not asked to be the main ball handler on this unit. Doesn't need to be. I think he fits them pretty well. Ooh, and Kurt Westerman going to finish out this roster for the Islanders. Honestly, I really like this pickup.
Yeah, this is a great pickup. This is another very good shooter at the 3 position. 6'10", like a perfect pick for this team, honestly. And a 79 overall at only 28 years old in the 5th round is a great steal.
Yeah, Reggie in the paint. Just needs some shooters, just needs some guys to fill in those gaps. 6'10" at small forward and pretty mobile for it too. super solid guy. Islanders really going all in to win it this year.
They've got a real good chance the way they're drafting right now.
And the Owls are going to pick up Joseph Towns. Now, I actually kind of like this pick because he's a diming three-point threat. You definitely need some floor spacing if you're going to play with Milo and a guy like Jaquan. They're definitely guys who like to go to the basket, so they definitely needed some guy to space out the floor. And he fills in that point guard slot. On top of that, he's 19 on a 4-year contract, so I think he fits pretty well. And with him being more of a passer, he's not going to try to take shots that Milo and Jaquan like to take. They're definitely volume shooters, and I think he'll just fit right in. All right, shooting stars, Luke Teague.
Good pickup for him. Probably going to be coming off of their bench, but a good backup. 22 years old, not too old. Kind of a steal. 1 year, but only $1 million.
Yeah, honestly, the shooting stars right now, with them being such a high pick, I don't think that they're making the right picks to be competitive right now like a lot of these other guys. At least their picks don't seem to have any sort of strategy or theme to them. They might come out of this with kind of a disappointing team. The Bison's picking up Jace Whitehead for the bench. He's a very solid shooter. Has good instincts of when to shoot. He reminds me a lot of Klay Thompson.
That's a very good comparison. He was one of them people that missed out on the Rising Stars game. He is 19 though, but a little under the radar compared to other people.
Stags picking up Homer Evans III. Another guy really young, 75 overall, 4-year contract.
Looks like he's going to be a great guy off the bench. Kind of skinny for a power forward, only 202 pounds at 6'9". See if they make it work.
Yeah, and with the Stags as well, it gives them a piece to switch out Cameron Johnson. If you don't need all that defense, you can put in a guy that can help space the floor. And he's 18. Any minutes that he's out there, he's learning. You hope that, he gets better. Stags have a lot of potential with this young lineup. And the Titans picking up Harry Hawkins, another three-point threat. He's at small forward, so not sure how he's going to be used. It's really interesting. A lot of teams are really not trying to fill out that 5, Blake.
They really aren't. They're going for a good guy off the bench.
And the Angels picking up Ruben Tatum, good perimeter threat. Once again, not going to fill out the roster. I'm not sure what the Angels are going for.
I'm not sure either, but a big body at the 3 who can stretch the floor is quite an interesting player.
And he's only 25 as well, so definitely could get traded. He is on a 1 year. Could see him later on in his career helping a team win a championship if with that interesting kind of play style that he's got at his size. And the Sales picking up Tyree Brooks.
He's a very good little prospect. Maybe not the highest potential, but he can definitely fill out a good piece in a roster. And comparing him to the rest of this team, he fits the small forward spot pretty well for this team. Yeah,
the Sales actually going to try to fill out their roster, which a lot of teams aren't doing right now. Maybe he can learn a thing or two from Dante North. You already have the scores. You already have Dante North's defense. He might just be a guy that could develop into that, Scottie Pippen kind of sidekick. Bombers with Levu Buska.
Good sharp shooting point guard off their bench. Very solid pickup.
And the 69ers picking up Collin Traylor at small forward. They already have a small forward, but how can they affect this team, Blake?
Well, actually, they don't.
No, they don't.
They don't. They've filled out their starting 5. This is a great pickup. Call him Big Country. He loves the post, has a great mid-range, a good post defender at the small forward position, decently athletic for his size, and on a really good deal as well. 4 years at 27, 78 is definitely a steal this late in the draft.
Yeah, the 69ers, the first team to actually fill out their 5. Stingrays going for Wayne Parker. Not much is known about him. Shooter, it seems, coming off the bench for the Stingrays. Devils picking up Trayvon Cunningham. How do you feel with this questionable Devils lineup so far, Blake?
It's very questionable. It's another guy in his mid-20s who he's kind of already developed, maybe has a little bit more to give you, but not really. It's a good three-point threat, but he's going to be coming off their bench anyway, behind Benedict Yates, so I'm not really sure what the Devils are going for here.
Yeah, and the Forcers got a good lineup going right now. They're going to pair that with Francis Cotton. Good defender at small forward. They already have Ankle Ramsey playing that small forward position, so not really sure what they're going for with this. Maybe just more young. He is 21 on a 3-year contract. I think the Forcers are really looking for the future. And the Rivermen picking up a point guard, Damon Douglas, is only 5'11", is only 180 pounds, but he is 21 on a very cheap deal. 2 years, $2 million.
It's a very interesting pickup. We don't know much about him, but he could be a steal. We don't know.
And the Bulls going to pick up Ivan Raja, a 6'10" small forward who can get you a bucket. Didn't go for that shooter like I thought they would. We'll see how they fill out that 5th-man spot. And the Tritons picking up Zaire Lynch, 19 years old, 75 overall, 3-year contract. Can definitely get his teammates involved. One of the few point forwards of the Double D League, and got a really nice mid-range to him. At 250, can really body you, get to his spots on the court, kind of like Milo Brooks, just a little bit bigger. This Tritons team is super young, definitely looking towards the future.
Yeah, you got to love the way they're drafting. You got Frazier, who's kind of the vet of this team, and then all of this young talent behind him. Looking like a great team for the future of this league.
And the Highlanders picking up Ken Byers to go with Glenn Armstrong, Alonzo Crawford, Marco Ramos, and Arthur Miles. How do you feel, Blake?
That fills out their starting five. He is a great sharpshooter, and they needed someone who could really be the elite sharpshooter for him, and they filled it out. And he's 6'7" at 2, so he's a big body.
The Outlaws picking up Chris Francis. Not much is known about him, but he is 19 on a 4-year. He is going to come off the bench for the Outlaws, as they already have Harris and Julian. But once again, looking like they're going for young guys, hoping that one of them just ends up being a star. And the Generals picking up Damian Green. I guess they need a backup point guard for Weatherspoon when he gets tired. Haven't gotten a center yet, so I'm really intrigued to see how they fill out the rest of this team. Arnold Shoemaker going to be picked up for the Vipers. How do you feel, Blake, as he fills out their roster?
Fills out their starting five. He is a big body. He is athletic, from Germany, by the way, overseas player. He's a good double-double machine. He's a really solid interior defender, great glass cleaner, and honestly, it's a steal here in the 5th round to fill out their starting five.
Blue Jays have a really nice core going, and they're going to pick up Delano Humphreys. 6'8", 247, big body, 30 years old. You did need a little bit of veteran leadership here, so playing their starting small forward position, I think he'll fill in well with Martell, Jay Banks, and Larry Pitts.
Definitely a solid pick here.
And the Kiwis going to get Ben Oliver. How do you feel about this, Blake?
Great pickup for them. He's an incredible stretch big, perfect pickup, finishes their starting five, and you couldn't really ask for more from this team right now.
Hammerheads picked up Evan Marks. He's going to be their starting center here, 24 years old, 75 overall, is a defensive anchor, so they couldn't get one of those big-name guys that could stop, one of the top guys in the league, but it's probably the best you can get right now at his position.
Very solid pickup for them.
Roadrunners, they got that point guard, they got the shooting guard, they got the small forward, they got the power forward. Are they going to fill out this roster, or are they going to go for the bench? Donnie Tiggs, they fill out that roster with a nice defensive man down low for all these shooters.
That is a great pickup. The only other thing I would have seen them go for, if Ben Oliver would have fell to this team, that 5-out offense would have been insane. But this is a good pickup. They need defense, and they got it here in the 5th round.
Friars going for another bench pickup in Jacob Hicks. He's 6'11", 212 pounds. This man is a stick bug, but he's only 19 years old, so you got to hope that he develops into something. Friars going pretty dang young with this.
They are going incredibly young, getting their 2nd bench player already. They're trying to get a deep bench, and they probably won't stay yet again, but they're trying.
And the Wyverns going to get Glenn Jeffries at power forward. How do you feel, Blake?
It's a good pickup. A very incredible bench player. 78 at 27 coming off of their bench is honestly great. He's super athletic, can get you rebounds, a high energy player, and honestly a very good steal here in the 5th round.
Yeah, and these Wyverns, although a good pick here, still have no point guard and no shooting guard. So you don't really need anybody to facilitate for Zhao. So maybe they might pick up some good defenders later on. Time will tell what they do. And the Huskies picking up Neil Elliott. Huskies drafting another young guy. Got him for $1.50 on that 1-year contract. So I think the Huskies just going for young guys, high potential, while also being very cheap, so they can have a lot of wiggle room to figure out how to build around Hollis and Al Farouk.
That is correct, and they're filling out their bench, but you got to wonder what kind of bigs are they looking at, because they don't have a power forward or center yet. They need to find that dominant big.
Yeah, and although they are going for a future team, you definitely want to be competitive enough right now. Although they could just tank. Maybe they're just tanking. Golden Knights do need a point guard here, but they're going to instead pick up a shooting guard. Is a good shooter. Looks like they're just going for a little bit of floor spacing on that bench unit. Pirates picking up Daniel Henry. Yeah, they already have Emmanuel Branch here, so getting a solid backup. Very young as well. It just seems like a common theme right now to just pick up the young guys and hope you find something good.
But a big body, 6'10", 254. He's a very big body off the bench.
Yeah, and to have a mid-range game as well. You don't see a lot of guys at that size that can have that same finesse.
Yep.
And the Aces, Deonte Knox. How do you like this one, Blake, for the Aces?
Good pick for them, I would say. I'm not sure if he's going to be their starting point guard or their backup, because I think he's very comparable to Antoine Early, and actually he's better. So it's kind of a toss-up who they're going to bring off the bench, but Knox is a great steal, 78-27, end of the 5th round. That is an amazing steal for the Aces.
Yeah, and honestly, surprised he's gone this far. He's a lot higher overall than a lot of these other guys. I think people at this point are just going for that high overall pick, but even Antoine Early, he definitely could have swapped places here. I think a lot of these GMs are really just valuing the young ages of a lot of people in this pool. Alrighty fellas, we couldn't do a breakdown of the entire draft, but I'll have the rest of it on screen for you. I'll also have a pinned comment with all the timestamps for all the viewer submitted players, and I'll also have the entire roster listed in the description of the video so you can learn a little bit more about the team your player plays for. Thanks for watching, leave a like, and I'll see you guys in the next one.